What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of An Honest Conversation about Hip Hop. It is your boy, yours truly, the one and only Hip Hop O-Head, aka D. Moraney, aka Hip Hop's Uncle Phil. And tonight I have with me.
It's your boy, Son Capone, the greatest rapper never known. Man, we posted on a Saturday.
On a Saturday, normally we hit on a Friday, but we took a pause for the cause, and we're here on
Low
a Saturday.
management.
Low management. Son Capone, aka Kawhi Leonard over here.
Man.
Kawhi Leonard of the podcast world.
Hey, my hammy is fucking killing me though, man. I don't know if I dislocated that shit or that shit unsnapped or what
Can
the fuck going on.
you dislocate a hamstring?
Yeah, well, no, you can't dislocate it, but you can tear some tendons and rip that shit off. You know what I mean?
That's Father Time creeping up on you, man.
Father Time. Shit, my daddy wasn't in my life, but Father Time, that motherfucker's making his presence known. God damn. Shit.
I'm your daddy now.
Daddy, where have you been? Like, fuck, man.
Hey, man, like we it's just been a theme of our recent podcasts. Like, just life going forward is that we're old now. You know what I mean? So old man stuff is gonna start happening to us. You know what I mean?
Fuck, man. Hey, we need to go ahead and start a FundMe page, and all I need is an Uber ride to the San Pedro Bridge and a volunteer to push me.
Shit.
My baby mama, I'm sure, will do that with no hesitation.
Right.
Like, man.
You don't even need a sign-up sheet for that. She
Nah,
with it,
not
man.
even, man.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
got the outfit picked out and
she
everything
probably
for that
spit
one.
on me as I drop in the water, like, man.
You're gonna get wet anyway.
Yeah, you know, like, man, a little loogie won't hurt, you know, man.
Well, let me shout out real quickly everybody who rocks with us, everybody who listens to us. You know where to find us. Easiest place, go ahead and find us on Facebook. You can also go ahead and find us on Spotify. You can find us on Google Play. And you can also find us on the mothership. That's An Honest Conversation about hip-hop at Lisbon. So go to lisbon.com or just type in An Honest Conversation about hip-hop, and the links will definitely come up. You'll be able to go ahead and check us out. So, again, thank you to everybody who's rocking with us. Big ups to Nice Rockwell, who you can hear right now in the background. And, man, we about to go ahead and start this week's show. A lot has happened in hip-hop, always. A lot of stuff is always transpiring. So we here at An Honest Conversation about hip-hop, we sit at a black table. Snoop went and had a red table talk with the Pinkets or the Smiths, or is it the Pinkett Smiths?
Pinkett Smiths.
The Pinkett Smiths. So it was Jada, Willow, and Jada's mother, who I have no idea
I don't know
what her name is, so no disrespect to her. So we know Snoop we were just, was it last week or the week before, where we were saying Snoop is the hip-hop uncle that we need.
Yeah.
He went in on Gayle, and then he squashed beef between E40 and Richie Rich. So now Uncle Snoop's back at the table, or for the first time at the red table. Crazy to me that Jada and Snoop had never met officially before, even though, you know, Jada was alleged to be running around with Pac during the death row times or whatever, and also Snoop is Snoop, Jada's Jada. You would think somehow that their paths would have crossed, but that's never happened.
Nah.
So this was their first sit down, and Jada wanted to speak to Snoop in regards to her feelings of Snoop calling Gayle, what was it, a dog head?
Bitch.
Yes. So they wanted to discuss this, so they sat down. We both watched the 30-40 minute show, whatever it was. I'm gonna start with you, Simon. What were your thoughts in regards to Snoop's appearance on the Red Table Talk show?
I mean, I give some props for addressing the shit, you know what I mean, and not running from it, you know, as far as going on there and discussing his feelings and, you know, him getting out of character and everything like that. What I didn't like is, you know, they made him come in and apologize immediately, you know what I mean, and they took it directly towards them. And I think we need honest representation, man. We haven't had nobody speak honestly since Malcolm, as far as, you know, for our people and what we really feel. I think that we sugarcoat shit, and I understand where Jada's coming from, but she's on a platform that is so high that, you know, her respect factor is way higher than our people's, you know what I mean? You know, she shouldn't be defending Gayle. What she should be defending is, you know, why do we get the Super Bowl promo with J-Lo and Shakira and they got to shake their ass for Latino women to represent our culture? You know what I mean? Like, that's a bigger fucking cause than Snoop disgracing this woman, disrespecting Kobe and his family. I think that we got the pictures all fucked up.
So you think this shouldn't be something that they really discuss? That Jada's energy should have been maybe used for something of a grander scale? I mean, do you think that? And you can't answer to this because you're not an African American man or woman, but do you think that there is a big gap in how men and women, treat each other with respect? Do you think that's something that we need to go ahead and fix?
No, of course we definitely have to fix, but the issue is pinning us against one another. You know what I mean? And and we're all at fault. You know what I mean? And for Snoop to go up there on the fucking front line and get shot to death, to admit his faults. Nobody else admitted their fucking faults and what's contributed to the fucking problem. And if anybody needs a fucking apology, it needs to be Vanessa for them being fucking insensitive to bring this bullshit up as her husband. And she didn't even bury her fucking husband or her daughter yet, and they're bringing up this bullshit and throwing dirt on Kobe's name.
Real spit. Do you feel that? Because I guess Gail has made her apology via cell phone video, like Snoop did, but then Snoop kind of had to double down and re-apologize. Per what Jada was saying, Gail was invited on, chose not to come. There's an open invitation. She can come back whenever she wants to. But do you feel she'll ever make that apology?
Fuck no. And as men, it's fucked up because as men, we are the ones that got to swallow pride and admit fault. You know what I mean? And as men, we will do that shit. You know what I mean? And shit, we will swallow our pride and take fault into it. But no, Gail don't have to. You know what I mean? Look, her best friend is Oprah, man. Gail don't got to do shit. So Gail has got power, and let's discuss that fucking power and what we need to fix it with the powers that be.
Do you think this was you have a segment that we started a long time ago where we called it bitch move, boss move and we would judge a move or an action. So Snoop sitting down with Red Table Talk, was this a boss move to move past all of the alleged negativity? Because I don't think that Snoop, and I hate to use this word, canceled, but I don't think there was not a chance Snoop was going to get canceled over this. I want to say support was 50-50. He said on the show that it was more for him, but I saw it 50-50. And again, just depends who you follow. He has a fan base who follows him, so I'm sure that his fans supported him more. But I'm looking at, I guess, not his fan base, just people I fuck with, and it was kind of 50-50. So was that a boss move to go on there, say what you need to say, and move past? Or was it a bitch move? Did he tuck his tail to make sure that he didn't have beef with, or not so much beef, but just wasn't looked at in a negative light when it came to the Jada Pinkett Smiths and the Oprah Winfrey of the media world?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's neither boss or bitch move. I think it was a man move. And, he showed his vulnerability, and he explained it. And, I do honestly believe he's sincere in his apology and getting out of character. But, I mean, there is a lot of anger and a lot of frustration in the way that everything was carried on. I mean, I don't think he overreacted. Again, I love honesty. I love when it comes from the heart.
Honest conversation about hip-hop, right?
And I embrace it, what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, it probably wasn't the most eloquent of words that he had used, but when it comes from the heart, that's when the truth is spoken.
Right, and like he said, he was in an emotional place. I think he said he had lost his grandmother. He referenced Kobe, his grandson. Nipsey had just, not had just passed, but Nipsey is still right there. And I'm sure there's other shit that, he maybe didn't say at that time that he was going through. Again, he said what he said. And at the end of the day, the energy he put out, though viewed as negative, we know was coming from a place of hurt. Yeah. So I can understand him apologizing. I don't understand why you go sit down again to apologize again. You know what I mean? And then Jada to say that she felt the power that Snoop gave them, he somehow took away, and that personally affected, her her daughter, her mama. You know,
baby, you got all the power in the world. Your lights ain't gonna get cut out no time soon. So nothing Snoop can say shall, prosper against you.
Right, and I think the two people most synonymous with the word bitch is Short and Snoop. So I don't understand that. I mean, they did bring up the bullshit we've called out before, the gospel records and all this kind of stuff. Jada's mama kind of started off the show as if he somehow went left. Like, oh, you did the gospel thing and, you seemed like you were in a good place. And then here comes this, not knowing that he dropped a Crip record right after that, So again, I didn't like the look because it just seemed like it was two people doing two things. Jada trying to get her foot in this, this conscious sister bag, which again, I've never seen Red Table Talk before, so I don't know if this is how she rolls 24/7. And then Snoop trying to be on this kind of rebrand, and or not a rebrand, but a cleanup. And they were both kind of somewhere in the middle trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? I just, he brought up Pac in the relation to Jada and this and that. It was just a really weird
well, they didn't have it. Yeah, they didn't have it mapped out. You know what I mean? And I think, honestly, Jada's intention was to have this motherfucker apologize and have it on her platform. You know what I mean? And that's all it was.
What she got?
She
got the big apology on the platform.
She put that brother in a headlock and he tapped out. You know what I mean? So
let me ask you the two themes, I guess, of the interview for me were Snoop mentioned a few times that we have to protect our superheroes. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this a long time ago. And I did a solo bolo, which was called Anybody Could Get It, which was about just that we shouldn't protect our superheroes. And I know Kobe was never found guilty of anything. So there's a reason why people will still view him as a superhero because, he allegedly did something, but then he was never charged with anything. Yeah. And there was a lot of smoke that surrounded that.
Yeah.
But is it dangerous to say that we have to protect our superheroes when at one point wasn't Kells a superhero? Wasn't Cosby a superhero? He was the superhero, So I don't know. I kind of felt that him saying that was the reason he said that about, he protected Kobe or said what he needed to say, that struck me as, if I feel you're a good person, I'm gonna protect you at all costs without really having the facts behind it. And again, I'm not saying that Kobe did anything to this young lady. I just don't like the stance of protecting your superheroes.
And I think that you're taking it in the wrong context as far as what he means. And what he means is by the superheroes is, not more so of the individuals, but the legacies. You know what I mean? And what we built and what we protected, because we are given so little, to go ahead and make so much out of. And I think that's whatever they do to demise us, you know what I mean? And believe me, man, we are always being looked down upon and always being victimized and always had the fingers pointed at us when, ultimately in the reality, we had nothing to do with any of it. You know what I mean? So I think it's more of the legacy and not, like I said, the individual acts of these cats. You know what I mean? So I think it's just protecting the legacy and how far we've come in what we've built as a people and as a culture, as opposed to, the individual contribution and who's contributed individually.
But that, it has to be taken on a case-by-case basis. Because again, if we're protecting the legacy, which in turn means that the individual will be protected as well. So imagine that mind state, and again, let's apply that to someone like Kells. How much longer is he getting away with raping and abusing underage girls and just women in general, if we're looking at the legacy and protecting the legacy? Because I think a lot of these people who are living foul, and it's just not Kells, Harvey Weinstein, who just was acquitted or whatever, and the politicians who are out there showing us what their legacy is going to be behind closed doors, and the pedophiles in Hollywood who are doing the same shit. So I just didn't like that coming from Snoop, to protect the superheroes, where it should be, no matter how we look at you, we're going to judge you the same way as someone who's just the regular man on the street. We're not going to view you in a better light because you've made it. You know, we might ask you how you did it, or we want you to show us, but to place you on a pedestal above someone else, in my opinion, I just can't. I can't rock with that.
No, I feel you, but I don't think it's an exemption of the wrongdoing that they've done, and I don't think that's what he's discussing.
Right. I think it's case by case basis instead of applying it to a broader. Everybody gets that same treatment.
Yeah,
I think it's a case by case basis. You definitely need to protect those legacies that shouldn't be attacked.
Yeah.
And those people that shouldn't be attacked.
Yeah.
But if you
and I think that's what
if you do dirt, you get dirt. Where's DMX? You know what I mean? The other thing I really agreed with him was that, as men of color, I do feel that we are being attacked by women of color.
Of course.
And I don't think that same support for others is really there. And so I rock with them on that one.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to, as you said, be honest and be a man nowadays, because things can be taken out of context and just ran to the highest festivities and blown out of proportion.
No, of course, and then everything is documented now, so you can run it back. They can manipulate it. They can go ahead and change the narrative of the original conversation, and
they can almost tell you what you were saying. No, you didn't mean that. What you meant was this.
Yeah, they got an audio man to go ahead and cut the clip and play it back. And I'm telling you, I had this conversation with my brother when he was going to school. And I told him, as a man of color, you don't get any chances. And we've had this conversation before that.
Yes.
As a man of color, we don't have any chances for redemption. That's it. Once you fuck up, that's, the one strike is 3 strikes to us automatically. So, keep your nose clean and stay out of trouble. So he's right about that 100, and like I said, the way that everything is branched out in media and video and all that type of shit. These fuckers are going so deep into creating fake media outlets to go ahead and make up fake stories just to go ahead and boost up their numbers and analytics and things of that nature. So that's how evil the society that we are in right now. So redemption, truth, and honesty is something that's really not appreciated these days and times.
And it's in the information age, which is crazy, because this is the new information age, but we were just talking a couple minutes ago about Bob Barker owning prisons. And I asked you, I said, wait, this ain't one of these Michael Jordan, the hooper, owns prisons, and Bob Barker, the Price is Right dude, owns prisons. And what we did is we did the Googles and found out, that it was a different Bob Barker. Yeah. But that's the type of shit, like you said, with the fake stories that get out there, and a couple people share it and don't know what the fuck they're sharing.
Don't read it.
You get an academic, somebody who doesn't really fact check and do the work, shoots that shit out there, and then next thing you know, 30 minutes from now, it's fact. And it's on the internet forever, and people get led and get pulled by that. So
Mike Tyson and his daughter.
I see Michael Blackson. I don't know if that was a work, though. I don't know if Mike was playing and they were playing, because they'll clown, because Blackson's done that with Kevin Hart. They'll go back and forth. And Mike Epps, that they're fucking around.
Yeah.
I don't know if Blackson wants that smoke. Because Mike will catch him.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with Mike.
Nah.
Mike could be 70 and I ain't fucking with Mike, man. Shit. And Blackson is a little thin cat, so, man, it would be lights out.
Oh, yeah, once. One little uppercut, it's out. It's out.
He's going to have a concussion if Tyson just whiff him. You know what I mean?
Right. And Mike said he was looking for the cat that started the meme. So he's looking for.
I pray for your soul, young man or young woman.
So let me ask you this. We know it's bullshit, but just hypothetically. So Mike Tyson's daughter needs to be married. And what was it, $5 million was on the table?
10
million was on the table. So Mike is going to be your father-in-law. He tells you. He says, look, son, you want to fuck up? That's it for you, all right? Would you take her hand in marriage, and would the money be enough to keep you faithful and to keep her happy? She wants you to attend to her needs, and when you don't, it's like you don't want me to.
Mike.
Yeah, you don't want me to tell my daddy. So would you take that?
What you say, boo? If I ask, would you say oh, I do.
So you would take that up?
Hey, 10 million, that would change our lives.
It would change your lives, but what happens when you piss her off?
Hey, that's so.
And Mike's at the crib.
Hey, well, you know what?
Hey, I'm a working man right now, and I don't got medical insurance to go see a doctor. 10 million assures me to go ahead and see a fucking face, or I don't even know what the fuck somebody
A facial recognition,
yeah, whatever the fuck
reconstruction.
whatever the shit is, man. I'm so forward to the medical field, like fuck, I couldn't even tell you,
Well,
but
you know,
I could afford it though.
you
You
gonna need
know,
a face doctor at the mic
I
hit
could
you
go to
one time?
Kaiser, I could go to Blue Cross, I could fuck Aetna, shit.
Aetna.
Shit. I'll take that ass whooping. Hey, Mike might fuck me up a total of 5 times. Man, you know, hey, that's about maybe a mil, 1.5, 2 mil. I got the other 8. Oh, cool, man. Shit. My baby getting that Apple fucking Apple 11. You know what I mean? Shit.
Hey man, you a fool, man. But hey, whoever started that meme, if Mike ever catch you, it's lights out, man. So Tory Lanez had dropped his latest project. Rapper, singer, Tori Lanez, songwriter. Tory does a lot. And I think it was called Welcome to like New Atlanta 3 or whatever. Neither is a Tory Lanez fan, so we're not gonna pretend to discuss the music here. It's just more about the move. Then he announces, I'm off of Interscope. I'm done. My last album, I'm a free agent. We've had this conversation before. You and former co-host of ours had this conversation of who would you rather be, Nip at the time, who we thought was independent, but all along was signed to Atlantic or whatever it was, and then Styles, Schoolboy Q, who was signed directly to Interscope and Aftermath. So now Tory finds himself in a position where he's a free agent right now. In today's climate, 2020, I'm gonna ask you, Simon, if you were an artist in the game, or if you were an artist right now, which one would you prefer? Being signed or being independent?
This depends, man. Because Tory is talented. He makes good music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's a talented cat. It's just, does he have the following, and can he sustain that by himself? You know what I mean? Obviously, he has a team and everything to get him to the position that he's at. But I mean, it's a gamble. You know, I mean, he can go independent. Fuck it, he can go independent for a year or two, see how it roll. And then the shit get tight. I mean, I don't know what his financial situation is. Like if he got to pay rent next month, then shit, he might want to look into a label. You know what I mean? To get that up front. But I think he's talented enough to. I mean, musically, he can do it independently. It's just, can he sustain that following? You know what I mean? And so, as short span is the what is the attention span is nowadays? Man, it's really a crapshoot, bro. So I'm not sure what he can do or how he can run with it. But I'm sure he's got a couple plugs and a couple associates and shit, and that's why networking is beautiful. So I'm sure that he could fucking, get some features on an independent album, and I'm sure cats will show him some love on the low, or might just do it out of love to where he can still do a like a label produced album independently. You know what I mean? I was just tripping on fucking, he did, what was it 11 or 13 projects, and the deal was for 5?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man, these labels, man, we've been getting jerked. And it's not just music, but we've been getting jerked our whole fucking life, man. Shit, working 3 times as hard than what we have to. You know what I mean?
The machine, man. Mm-hmm. I think Tory's gonna be all right. To kind of piggyback off what you were saying, because he does make good music, and he has a lot of connections. He's done a lot of favors for people, whether it's writing, whether it's hooks, whatever it may be. So I think he's in a space where he can continue to stay relevant, just basically by, hey, Chris Brown, I need you on this track. Hey, such and such, I need you with this track. If I'm not mistaken, the mixtape he dropped last, the Chicks tape or whatever, the heavily sampled joint that had Ashanti on the front, it almost sold 100,000 first week. Right. And that's just a mixtape. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he definitely has a following. It's not top tier. He's not at, M level. He's not at the Weekend level or whatever. But for a independent artist, those are really good numbers. Hell yeah. And if he's able to utilize connections and continue to drop hot singles, because that's where it's at now.
Yeah. It's a singles game.
Especially for him. He could live off 6 or 7 singles for the next, 8 or 9 months. and he could go to tour off those singles
Shit, for a year, 2 years.
and never have to drop an actual album. You know what I mean? So I think by being independent, it, and in Tori's case, it's going to allow him to build a stronger connection with, you said, his fan base. Because now you don't have to cater to the label for anything.
There's no A&R telling him what he's
Right.
gonna
And there's
write
no
or-
project due. There's no, you need to do A, B, C, D.
Pressure is off.
Nothing. It's now it's you and your fans. What do you want? What do you like? Where do you want me to see? Or B, where do you want to see me? What do you want to see me do? Who do you want to see me work with? You know what I mean? So it's a place of freedom, I think. And for creators to be free is probably the best creative feeling that you can have.
Yeah. When you know you're free.
When you know that you're free and I can just
Out
do
of
whatever
love,
I
yeah.
want to do.
It's not out of business. Out of
Right,
love.
right, exactly. So I think it's a good look for him, and you're right. If you can truly stay independent, I feel that this is the day and age where it's best for that.
Yeah, you leverage more. You know?
Right. There's a lot of cats out there that are screaming, "Oh, I'm independent," but deep down,
Yeah,
we know that you're not truly independent.
Independently lying.
Yeah, you independently lying, right? But salute to Tori, man, for
Good luck, man. Best of luck, brother. I
Yeah.
want to see you win, bro. I'm glad you were out of that situation. You free. Take advantage of it, and man, make magic.
make magic. Man, that's a good segue, man. Because remember when you could make magic off a good, like, Jodeci record? You know what I mean? You throwing some Maxwell. Maybe you got that Chico the Bars, just for the touch of it. Those were the days when R&B was very prevalent. Young M.A. Just dropped her strap-on line. Now she's saying we need to bring back R&B. Maybe
She's trying to get busy.
Yeah,
man.
she's trying to
Hey,
get.
she trying to exercise the Rubbermaid. You know.
Yo, she gonna like.
She said Chris Brown ain't gonna cut it, baby.
She gonna light the Badu incense.
Oh man.
She gonna strap up
Mm.
and she gonna turn on some soft R&B. So basically, she said that R&B was the balance to music, and that music is not the same because R&B is gone, which I kind of agree, but not to the fact that she's saying it just disappeared. It's not disappeared. Then we had Puff chime in, who said, "Yo, I'm bringing R&B back. That max level, top tier R&B that only Puff can do. He's bringing it back through making the band." And announced we're gonna get a girl band and a boy band put together by his sons.
Tough.
So we got the three. we got Albie Shore Jr. We have the dude that raps, and then we have the former football player. It's Justin, and I don't know the
I don't
names
know
again.
the
No
two names.
disrespect. It's I think it's Sean Jr.
Yeah.
Sean Jr., Justin, and Albie Shore Jr. If that's even his name. I'm not, you look just like Albie Shore, so you're Albie Shore Jr. And then Ninth Wonder, super producer, hip hop scholar, professor, chimed in and said via Twitter that the reason that R&B has kind of lost its way is because people stopped sampling. So these younger generations are no longer aware of older records. Through sampling, you got to hear some of those records. You know what I mean? Go back and listen to the originals. So you've been called Music Man, Dr. Funk. Like R&B is kind of your hidden love. For those that have heard your music, they know that there you are rooted in melodies and choruses and things of that nature. So what did you feel, Simon, in regards to Young Ma or Young M.A.'s statements in regards to R&B?
Yeah, no, I mean it just like hip hop. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers are taking shortcuts. You know what I mean? And I like what Ninth Wonder said as far as the appreciation and understanding different genres of music. And I think when we were growing up, we had that appreciation. You know what I mean? And listening to different forms of music and understanding, how songs were written and constructed and how they were put together. I think now you're just looking for the sub to come in and come with a cool little melody and that's really it. There's There's no stacks. There's no ad libs or anything like that. It's got simplistic. So I mean, I think that's the death of it, and I think that with making the band, even though it's Puff, and Puff has a hell of a resume, I just think organically, when you throw artists, and especially R&B artists together on a whim, they have no chemistry. And R&B is filling, you know what I mean? And there is soul behind it. And when you throw cats collectively together or artists together, I just don't think that is going to naturally work out. So I think that he's going to bump his head or set up the kids for failure trying to put it together, being cocky, and that's a dangerous game to play.
He had Danity Kane. He had Day
26.
Day 26. And was Dirty Money a R&B contestant group?
Yeah, I think
they were.
So.
And
then Donnie Klang or whatever the
Danity
fuck.
Kane was, yeah. So, and none of that to me was top tier. Sutra,
and it's cool because as far as the budget, they probably had one of the larger budgets of the artists in that time frame.
Viacom and MTV, that show got a nice little budget.
As far as production,
yeah, I doubt Diddy is bringing back, or Brother Love, whatever he's calling himself, is bringing back real high level R&B. And there's actually really good high level R&B out there right now. Daniel Caesar makes high level, really good R&B just off the top of the head. There's still good music out there. Do you have to look harder for it?
Yeah.
Yes, you
so
do.
Saturated.
It's not only it's so saturated, but the highlight is no longer there. The R&B superstar is no longer the R&B superstar because, as you said, there's too much melding of the genres. So we just finished talking about Tori Lanez. He raps and he sings. Drake probably is the R&B superstar, but he doesn't really do traditional R&B. You know what I mean? So the names I mentioned earlier, I can't even tell you a new age boy band, or not boy band, but just a new age R&B group. I think with the cats across the pond, the Mike Lowry cats or whatever, that I fuck with them, but that's who comes to mind. I can't tell you any R&B male groups, and I can't really even tell you any R&B female groups any longer. So I just think the need for that is not as prevalent as it once was. You got a lot of these hybrid cats now, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that's where it's moved to. And so I think you have to search more for those artists that are more traditional R&B. And again, we're in the information age part 2, and it's about not doing the research and trying to find the music. If you really want to find some neo soul shit, guess what? You could go down a rabbit hole and you can find some neo soul shit. You know what I mean? If you want to find some boot knocking joints, guess what? They still make them. You know what I mean? Word to my dude that sings what's it called, Pull Out or some shit. I forget what dude's name is. Boot knocker. That's a booty getter. If I was still making slow jam mixtapes and CDs, that shit would be on there. That would definitely be on there. So it's still out there. You just have to go. You have to search. It just no longer is front row like it used to be. So before we exit this topic, let me ask you, if this fails, this whole making the band shit, do you think that Puff put his kids as the judges, so that could be
their fault,
not his? They're the fall guys.
Come on, Puff. Come on, man. Ask Sean how Puff work and shit like that. I'm gonna go.
Bad boys. Bad boys.
I think that's where with Puff, his legacy has been chipping. So you know what I mean. Of course, who do you throw under the bus? Motherfuckers that don't know no better. You know what I mean.
We'll see how it works. It's going to be very interesting to see his sons and be the judges. But, I mean, it does make sense because they're younger. And maybe they will be able to see some things that maybe the older artists, because that's our main concern was with the show. Who is judging this shit? Because it can't be a whole bunch of old dudes that no longer are relevant or
going
cool.
Off the old standard.
Going off the old standards. You know what I mean? Andre Harrell cannot be there saying this is what we're looking for. It has to be some of these younger dudes. So we'll see. I don't know when it drops, but it's coming soon. They're actually doing the selection, or they're actually doing the tryouts now. So, big ups. and good luck to everybody who's going down. I think it's the first week in March. They'll be all over Atlanta, all over. So
All right.
it'll be an exciting time for those young artists and who are chasing their dreams, and good luck to them. Jay-Z, Yo Gotti, along with the Team Rock, of course, are trying to assist 150-something inmates who are currently in the Mississippi State Correctional Department, who are living in horrible horrible situations. I don't know if you've seen any of the photos online or whatever, but it's fucked up. It's disgusting. It's nasty. So he's helping them file a lawsuit so they can try to go ahead and improve their conditions. We are very I don't want to say judgmental, but we are very skeptical of the moves that Jay has made since he since he went into partnership with the NFL. So should we be giving him props now, Simon? Is it time to give him props for this move, since we've talked what people say would be a lot of shit about Jay for this NFL move?
Well, and again, he ain't doing shit for the community. You know what I mean? And this has nothing to do with the community whatsoever. So, I mean, as far as, with the prison system and shit like that's a whole nother animal itself. But what do we do to prevent people from going to the prison system is what the fuck we need to be looking for, and not, making sure that toilets in fucking cell block 400 is capably flushing, on time. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for the brothers and shit like that, and it's a bad situation. But somebody that's been involved with the penal system and the correctional facilities since I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like, I think that there's a lot more good that they can do as far as shit. If you're gonna put the money up for anything, put money up to get kids some after school programs, or fucking put some work in an urban community where there's employment that's needed, where these cats can make a living wage. Don't just change the direction of one person, change the direction of a family. Like, if you're gonna put money in anybody for prison, nobody ever says this shit. We're worried about the fucking prisoners, but what about the mamas that are stuck with the 3 fucking kids at home doing it by their fucking self?
That's real shit.
And
that's something you can directly relate to.
Of course.
I'm all for him trying to get these conditions together. I believe that, every living person should, even if you're incarcerated, should at least have a decent place to live. It is prison. Shouldn't be nice.
No, I feel you, but there's homeless motherfuckers, D. You know what I mean?
Right. So my question is, and again, people will be like, oh, here you are shitting again on Jay again. Why? But my question is, like you said, like, why this? Why now? Now, I know Yo Gotti, I think, is from Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's from Tennessee. I don't know. But, yeah, like, where's the other shit, like you said? You know what I mean?
The community.
And I would love to see the NFL being attached somehow to this.
No, what they did is they stamped Jay as the front man. He's the he's that motherfucker right there. You know what I mean? And, hey, I don't think Jay is smart, man, but I don't think he thought this one fucking through as far as what he signed up for. You know what I mean? He saw the NFL and the brand and everything like that. But, man, he didn't know he was going to grab them ankles tighter than what he has been and, getting jerked.
And I also think, we've said this before, I think that he thought the reception to him getting the NFL's entertainment contract and this partnership was going to be he was going to be received better than what it was.
Been, yeah.
And so I think, and then the rollout, the misfiring of these quick little giveaways that they did do. We're gonna give money to the lady cutting locks, we're giving money to this organization that supported this person. It was just him. It sounded like he didn't have enough information or control over what really was happening. And then we just stopped hearing about the donations until the end of the year. He's like, yeah, I got him to give $100 million or whatever it was to charity, but we don't know who, we don't know where, we don't know what the money was for. We just heard that it was given.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I want to see them do more community activist stuff, and for that to be publicized.
Yeah.
I think the prison situation right now is big. I mean, it's a hot it's a hot topic. Look what Kim Kardashian was doing. Trump just did that shit to make it look like he was cool with brothers and was, trying to
That's
swing
what I'm saying,
the
man. And
black vote.
that's all the shit is just to, get self-validation. But, I mean, they're not, man, change where the fuck the problems really are. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, in prison and stuff like that, there's cats that are in there that's wrongfully locked up. You know what I mean? I don't know what the percentage is and shit like that. But then there are a lot of cats that make decisions. And unfortunately, man, one bad decision, my pops told me, man, my pops a lifer and died in prison. Told me one 5-second decision can change your whole life. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, you know what I mean, that you don't get no run back from that. You know what I mean?
Right, and you have those people, the 5-second decision people, and then there's people who just truly deserve to be in fucking jail.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, I'm not one of these soft sympathists where it's like, oh man, prison should be fluffy and lovely. I do believe there's some motherfuckers you cannot rehabilitate, and they don't deserve cushy and comfy and fluffy for the rest of their life, because the crime that they committed, that victim is never going to be cushy and comfy either.
Never.
So, and I know people say, it's eye for an eye, but hey, at the end of the day, that's how I feel in regards to that. But for the folks who can be rehabilitated, I, as a country, we have to do better.
No, of course.
And that would be the cool shit to see, Jay get together with somebody, who's out there trying to rehabilitate and trying to make, this, these individuals better when they come out. You know what I mean? And so, not to knock them, hey, get that situation in Mississippi taken care of. It's that certain prison. The photos I saw looked disgusting, and it was definitely somewhere a human being should not be living, regardless of what they've done.
No, but
they
that's
don't.
all prisons, man.
They're all
prisons
bad.
Fucked up, man. You know what I mean? I've been to all of them. You know what I mean? Like, I did the state tour. You know what I mean? And, hey, in the South, they give a lot less fucks. You know what I mean? So, it's uncruel conditions. But I mean, honestly, me personally, I have more sympathy for the fucking 5-year-old that don't have fucking shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Definitely the babies. The babies, in my opinion, come before anybody else. Speaking of that, so there was this clip. This mother was on one of these hip hop shows, Growing Up Hip Hop, or
Black Star Ink or whatever. The tattoo.
Oh, was that? That's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Or Black Ink.
Black Ink or something. So her and her husband, her and her son are having a conversation, and she utters some crazy shit like, "I should have swallowed you," or some crazy shit like that. Now this is reality TV, so maybe the words didn't hurt him as much as he pretended to do. But I want to talk about toxic parents, because I think that is something that is just, I don't know if it is more prevalent now, or if that was something we dealt with kids. My parents did some mean shit, but it just seems like the toxicity level or acidity level, whatever, is at an all-time high, especially with some of these parents and the way that they're treating their kids. And you see more kids being broken, than ever before. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that side.
Well, no, and that shit I understood. You know what I mean? And
she's a mother. You know what I mean? And with the mother at home, and this is where it's so important that everybody co-parent, because this shit hit home for me. Because what women do is they physically can't impose discipline on you. So in a stage of hurt as a child and being a young boy, the only thing that they can impose on you is words. So with those words, women will say words, and I've learned this at a young age, will say words or say, things that will sting. So that should stick with you, you know what I mean? And with that toxic level, like I said, it kind of remind me of my childhood, as far as, I never been, stated to be swallowed.
I can't picture your mom.
But
call you by your government name. I should have swallowed you.
But I've heard some cold ass shit. You know what I mean? And as I got older, I understood where it come from, because she was hurt. You know what I mean? And with that hurt, it was passed along to me. And this, unfortunately, my dad wasn't around, so I was the motherfucker on the front line.
Yeah.
So I think I think now, and even now with my daughter and her mom, she says a lot of crazy out of pocket shit. And me personally understanding being in that situation, I don't involve my daughter in it because I don't want her in the middle or to feel any certain way.
Right.
So whatever her mom says, obviously she'll take it. My daughter will take it face value, and I'll explain it to her when the time is right. But there's still a lot of shit that I don't touch because I feel she's still too young to really understand all of it. But I think that with co-parenting, I think that's something that we don't take serious, man. And it's just division, and that's why everything is so fucked up. You know what I mean? You see people in position of power, they're together. They honor the family system. They take care of their family. They don't talk to their kids like that, or they don't treat their family members like that. I just think that we are so lost, and the easiest way to fucking oppress us or keep us at this level that we're at is just constant division within the home, division, within the community, division within, friends and relations, everything. There's just division everywhere. And I think we got to get back together. I don't condone what she said. I think it's some cold ass shit. And I hope the boy heal and don't take it face value. You know what I mean? If I was there, I would have, chopped it up to him and, give them some words of encouragement. And, when I see kids, that's what I try to do, because we don't know what these kids are being told at home. And these kids carry a heavy burden. And it's a lot crazier now, because with kids, when we were younger, we had somebody to kind of keep us in line that would look out for us. Even they weren't in the home, they would look out for us and kind of tell us we were falling off or we're fucking up, or, address us. With these kids, they really don't have that shit. So when somebody does try to tell them, they're so not used to having, that conversation, they take it personal.
Yeah, it's almost like a rebellion.
Exactly.
In regards to, hey, how you what are you telling me? Like, nah, you're definitely right in regards to that. It's sad, because you're right. We do need to heal. You know what I mean? And from what I know, this started because he stole from Kmart or something like
Walmart.
that. Walmart. No, Kmart don't exist.
That's how I say shit.
He jumped in the hot tub time machine.
He stole from Jimco. He stole from Jimco.
He went in there and stole from the Husky. I
was gonna get those corduroys, boy. I was gonna get them.
Yo, that was fucked up when you had to go to the Husky section and shit.
Hey,
like
man.
that was shameful.
You want to talk about fucking self-esteem killer right there? Hey, I am Machiavelli. I am the fat Mac and all that shit. Man, but it took me years to get to that level of confidence. But can you imagine being a fucking 9-year-old and your aunt is taking you school shopping and your cousins and shit, they all slim. I'm the only chunky one in the family, and my aunt is trying to get me some fucking corduroys, and my aunt asked the lady, "Where's the Husky section?" And shit, and the bitch get on the loudspeaker like, "Gerald from the Husky section, we need you in Iowa," whatever and shit. Like, just fucking tell the whole goddamn world and shit. Hey, from then on, I went to wearing shorts and sweats and shit. Ain't no Husky. It's just large and extra large.
Motherfuckers blew like a big ass horn and shit.
Oh man, fat kid on the loose.
Yeah, man, I remember having to go to Gemco Husky. And then at some point it switched. It wasn't Husky anymore. I don't know what it was before. I went to Big and Tall.
I went into men's clothes. And I still got short legs, man. I got long upper body, but man, the short legs, we was cuffing them motherfucking legs and shit.
Washington Huskies, man. But on a serious note, yeah, there needs to be some healing that has to begin, with these toxic parents. And I know there's a lot of people advocating and pushing for therapy, but it's something I think definitely there needs to be some sort of outreach for people who happen to live, in the circumstances that a lot of us have lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, we'll go back to Snoop conversation, especially for men. Who can we vent to? Who can we go to? If you don't have a homie,
Man, you stuck, man.
You stuck. You can't, can you vent to your wife? Maybe. But what happens when the venting is about her?
And I love you women. I love you women to death. Believe me, anybody will tell you, man. I am the biggest advocate of women, and I love all of y'all. But man, there's just some things that women don't understand. You know what I mean? And not to say that you don't try to, but it's two different worlds. And there's things that men, as much as I love y'all and listen to y'all and sit down, I do not understand.
Right.
You know, I got that blank look in my face, and I feel like an asshole because I don't understand you. But you know, with your woman, you want to confide in her and everything, but there's just, you know, there's some things that, shit, she's looking for you, you know, to be, you know, the leader of the pack, the king, the, you know, the almighty. But, you know, sometimes, hey, we question ourselves, and it's okay, you know what I mean? But, you know, it comes down to, again, self-confidence and, you know, and the belief in ourselves. And, you know, a lot of us didn't have that shit coming up, you know what I mean?
And I think it's really hard when nowadays you might have a couple that both might not be able to really know how to not so much confide, but really be able to have that conversation or support someone just without using the catchphrases. Oh, you'll be all right. Everything will work out. You always get over this. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are so hurt and are still so broken. They haven't come to their own grips with what they got going on.
Oh, so we all broken.
Yeah. So
we all still broken.
So how can they be supportive realistically in that moment? You know, it's something we people of color have to learn. You know, it's crazy. We have to learn compassion. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I wonder why, man.
Right? No,
hey, the fucking Carnival cruise came floating ashore and shit. Compassion thrown out the window and shit.
And we definitely know why. But I think we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, where it's like, as men, especially men of color, like, we will kill you with jokes before we ever give you any type of props, and it just be regular shit. Like, hey, dude got a cat. This nigga got a cat. You old cat having old tabby, and it'll be whatever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he washed his cup after he used it. You old dishwasher, come over here and wash my dish. You know.
We clap. I mean, I still do that shit to this day. But you know what I mean. In selected times and shit like that, we got to tell our brothers and shit that we proud of them and guide them and push confidence into them. And that's one thing that I always instill, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's conversations I've had 10, 15 years ago with motherfuckers. And it's all love. We just don't connect as we did, or, you know, don't work or same place of employment or don't link as we should. But they'll hit me on some shit that, you know, man, what you told me 10 years ago changed my life. You know what I mean? And you know, we just got to be positive and celebrate, man. It's nothing wrong with telling somebody you proud of them, man. You know, regardless of what they doing. If they putting the effort into it, man, and they putting their soul into it, we got to let them know and just, you know, keep striking. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't have too many proud talks when I was older, and you know what I mean? And I just kind of let that shit dwindle, you know, with the rest of everything, and just kind of just followed suit. You know what I mean? So, you know, we need to have those conversations, uplift, and man, give folks props.
Yeah, no, definitely, and you know, change the way we compliment one another. You know what I mean? The backhanded.
You tired of my jokes, motherfucker?
Yeah.
You taking shots on me on the show?
No, I'm not. No jokes. No, I'm just in general. You know, to say, yo, man, I love.
He really do wash his cup after he drink from it and shit.
We'll ask my wife next time she's on the podcast if I really do that shit.
And in the boxes on the floor and shit.
Yeah, she'll be like, nah, that ain't happening. So real quick, man, let's talk some sports, man. Have you ever done so well at your job that they pulled you in and said, we need to drug test you?
Oh, shit. Fuck, I wish, you know what I mean? Like, man.
So what's my man from the Wizards? They want to trade him, and then they don't want to, Bradley Beal. So Bradley, if I'm not mistaken, went for
53,
50-something, lost both games. And then the insult to injury was the league said, yo, we need to drug test you because you shouldn't be going for 50 multiple nights, man. As other leagues start to take a stance, I think marijuana in baseball is now legal, no longer tested. Looks like the NFL will be moving that way.
Yeah.
The NBA is usually a progressive league, and they're usually ahead of the curve. What do you think it is with the league and weed and not really making that move yet?
Well, with the NBA, and
NBA, these cats is running and shit like that, and they obviously with Major League, their schedule is demanding as far as with Major League, but the game doesn't require as much physical activity. And with the NBA, these cats are on the road. They're running every night. They're running for almost an hour every night. So I think with them, the stigma of them, it's slowing the production of the players down. As far as being lazy or forgetful or just not on top of their business. I think the NBA, I think they fear that it's going to affect the product that they're issuing out. You know what I mean? Could you imagine LeBron hitting fucking some indica before fucking Game 3 in the finals?
But I don't think anybody's going to. I don't see LeBron sitting there and be like, yeah, LeBron, what happened? Yo, man, shout outs to Burner and his cookies. You know what I mean? Girl Scout, had me on one tonight. That's why I went for 60. I don't see that happening. I mean, and obviously you can put in some provisions that say, hey, we want to protect the image of the league. So we don't want you endorsing these products. You know what I mean? And you can quickly eradicate or get rid of marijuana from the substance abuse list and then still keep in place the rules that says, hey, we don't want you promoting things that the league says, we feel is negative. I don't think any of the players promote alcohol, right?
No.
Right? And they don't promote cigarettes. So I think you wouldn't be able to, LeBron's not going to have his face on the side of some, sativa at a shop in West LA. He's not opening up brownies and slanging herbs.
I cop him the King's Kush.
King's Kush. Yeah. I don't think he's doing that, It's just weird. I don't know why the league is not being progressive in that situation, because you got guys still getting, not passing these, or I'm sorry, getting popped on these tests, and then they got to go sit down for a while.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just think it's the stigma, you know what I mean, and it's a drug and shit like that. I was talking to somebody about this shit before when I was a kid. You smell weed in there and shit. You're like, somebody's doing drugs. You know what I mean? And you treated it like it was fucking Bobby and Whitney over there on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? But I just think with the stigma in the NBA, and I just think they're trying to protect too much as far as, motherfuckers being high, and that Deion Waiters didn't help anything this year.
Right.
Stuck off the edibles and shit.
Right. You definitely got knuckleheads. You got to control it. So I can, I definitely get why they're a little worried about it, but I don't understand why they haven't made that move yet. There's easy controls you can put in place to regulate some of this stuff.
No, true.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
No marijuana's on the team playing, no marijuana in the building, at the practice facilities. A lot of these places are non-smoking places anyway. You know what I mean? So, again, you can regulate some of those things. I just would like the league to be a little more progressive, and it's, again, cold-blooded that Beal got hit with a drug test after going, for 50.
53 and 55.
They should have drug tested his ass when he re-signed with the Wizards.
You know what I mean? Him and John Wall, all them motherfuckers. Like, you still in Washington?
Give me the Grunt contract. I think Ernie Grunfeld was still there. Yeah. Get that to me. You know what I mean? Because, shit, the Bullets? Woo.
Yeah.
Or the Wizards, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Shit.
All bad.
Ain't no wizardry going on in that motherfucking.
So, the draft is a month. April. So we got a month until the NFL draft. Combine is going on now as we speak. We had a old lineman with like 15% body fat run almost a sub 5, if I'm not mistaken.
5'1".
We just had 2 defensive linemen run a sub 4.8, and then shout out to your brother, Matt just posted something.
Man, Matt checking out brothers like he a Kardashian right now. Like, I'm like, I'm getting posted shit. I feeling like Chloe right now and shit.
Matty K. Huh?
Oh, he about to get a contract.
Matty Cash over there. But the dude from LSU, Simmons or whatever.
Yeah, he's a hybrid, man.
Yeah,
so
he ran a 4.3 and some change.
4.39.
That's crazy.
And he's 6'4" and like maybe 230 or something like that.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I say that to say, no. So what was the point? Ruggs? What did Ruggs run?
4.3.
4.3, and then what's the other dude from Bama? He ran a sub.
I think a 4.45.
Yeah, he ran a sub 4.5. Judy. what are your Raiders gonna do, man? There's a lot of.
I don't even know, man.
They could be Mike Mamula's, where they just put up some great numbers and then get to the league and pan out. But there seems to be a lot of athletic ability and possible. Remember back in the day, what game was that? I think it was called Game Breakers, NFL Game Breakers. Or was that Madden where they had the Game Breakers? There was some game where it was a video game and they had the dudes that were the Game Breakers and they were better than everybody else. But it seems to be a lot of Game Breakers this year in this draft. What do you think the Raiders are doing?
Yeah. Because everything is so up in the fucking air. We got Tom Brady, whether we gonna sign him or not, and what that look is looking like. And then I'm hearing that shit. You told me if Tom Brady has moved out or moved in, then we going receiver heavy with the first 2 picks.
That's the same thing I heard. That if the first 2 picks are receivers, then that signals Tom coming to Vegas.
So and that change everything, because then if we get 2 receivers with Tom Brady, then we shipping Derek Carr out, and then I heard with Derek Carr we're looking at a 2nd round pick. So with the 2nd round pick, then we can obviously fill holes either at the linebacker position, fill holes at the linebacker position, or obviously in the secondary. So I mean we're looking at corners. Our corners are young, but we're still looking for a stud corner. And then I mean with linebacker, we need all linebackers. I don't think we have any linebackers on the squad.
No signed linebackers?
We have one, but he's making like $7 or $8 million. We're about to cut him because it's not guaranteed.
Damn. So okay. So it'll be interesting. That's what I'm hearing is you guys are going 2 receivers because I guess Brady's in the bag already. So we'll see how that works out for you guys. See if that is a possibility. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see these young brothers get their shot. The league is getting, much like the NBA, the league's starting to turn over. And I'll be excited when the Breezes, the Matt Ryans, those guys are no longer in the game, and now we've got new blood in there. Yeah. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Just like the league now with Morant and what's the kid, Luka and Trey. There's a lot of there's talent in this league, man. There's a lot of talent, so it's a good time for professional sports. In my opinion, taking that leap into the future. Yeah. Anything else before we get out of here, man?
Oh, man. Just shout out to everybody tuning in and, don't call nobody doghead bitch. Jada will get you on the red table. And it's funny because I've heard Jada do more, what's it called? I haven't heard her do any advocating for the community and shit like that. But, man, I lost my fucking train of thought.
But there's a lot. Because Jada was out of pocket when she let what's the dude's name, August
Alsina smash.
Alsina not only smash but make a record about being the side
That's
dude.
What I was gonna say. Jada's more famous for any contributions. She's more famous for her outside relationships than she is for her contributions for the community.
And not to say she doesn't contribute in some sort of way that we're not aware of, but again, I definitely think that was a look for both of them, as we said earlier. I think, clean up for Snoop and Jada to kind of put the gauntlet down as far as, hey, I want to be the person that brings the black issues to the table so we can go ahead and discuss them. And if that's how people want to rock, cool. I just didn't like the fact the first question or the way she posed it was, hey, I was personally hurt by this,
I'd be like, get a tissue.
Right? Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't understand.
Shout out to Snoop for keeping his composure, man. I don't know if it was the weed or the maturity or what the fuck was going on, but if it would have been me, we would have been riding. I would have been Tupac, Amaru, Shakur, and that motherfucker shit. We'd have started some beef.
And I ride on my enemies. Exactly. And at the end of the day, we are not enemies, men and women of any color. But I'm going to speak to our sisters, our black and brown sisters, that, we are not the enemy. I know that might be how we are portrayed. We might even portray ourselves, as the enemy. But we are all broken. And the only way we're going to be able to fix ourselves is to truly fix ourselves. Look within, own your own shit, so that way you can move forward. It's cliche, but you can't love anybody until you truly love yourself.
All right,
you know what I mean? And hey, let me get my little shoulders bouncing and shit.
We need that kind of R&B back.
Yeah, right. But at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to: knowing who you are, knowing your self-worth, and then knowing what that is and what that can give to the next person. And until we find that out as a whole, we'll have a lot of these, situations where things are said out of hurt and anger, and then are, blown up and taken to another level. But we commend Snoop for standing up, I guess, and if this was sincere, hats off to you. I would love to see, again, Gail come down and sit at the red table or the blue table, or sit at any table, not in your house. And
not at Oprah's table.
Not at Oprah's table. And for you and Snoop to have this conversation about how he felt and how you felt. That needs to be the conversation that needs to be had. Doesn't need to be secondhand. I'm officially representing the person who feels like they were wronged. I want to see that conversation. I think, and hopefully we get that at some point.
And again, with Gail and Snoop, that's a whole nother element. But I apologize to Vanessa for having to go through this bullshit and having her family thrown under the fucking bus just for some fucking views,
Yeah, man, very sad. And then she's supposed to be pregnant again. Is that the word? Or
nah, I didn't.
That's what somebody was saying. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. But very sad. Everyone who passed, Pop Smoke just recently. I mean, we just need to get back to loving and really trying to understand and again, not to be cliche, trying to make the world a better place at the end of the day, because it's for our babies, and that's what we really got to do, man, is remove the toxicness out of our everyday lives, out of our culture, and try to be better people at the end of the day.
That's it. That's all we can do. Time is limited, so let's
right.
make the most of it. And the earth ain't even ours, man. It's just rented, and we rent it from the baby. So let's leave them in a better position than what we got.
Definitely. I think we'll close on that. Big shout outs to everybody who rocks with us. Again, you know where to find us. Facebook, An Honest Conversation About Hip Hop Podcast. You can find us on Instagram. Just Google An Honest Conversation About Hip Hop. We're everywhere. Find us. Subscribe. Listen. Shout outs to Nice Rockwell, as always, behind us, getting it in musically for us. Big shout outs to our brother Pooh, recuperating, resting, getting better. See you soon, bro. We love you. And shit, that's it. It's your boy, Hip Hop O-Head, a.k.a. Hip Hop's Uncle Phil, D. Moraney, along with Simon Capone, for an honest conversation about hip hop. And we out. Peace.